that leads me to the last thing that I want to talk about as we close today, which is a one-on-one coaching program that we're kind of launching today called Blue Ocean Coaching. It's a business that I'm starting together with Paul and Alette Marais. We'll hear from them just now. And I want to just give you the backstory to Blue Ocean Coaching and why I believe in one-on-one coaching so much. So you may or may not know, I got my start in real estate. I've never worked as an estate agent. I got my start in real estate 20 years ago through a guy called Brian Buffini, who I met through a mutual friend, and I brought his company, which was the biggest coaching company in the world at the time. They had 10,000 coaching clients, all of them estate agents, and I brought that company to South Africa. So I ran a one-on-one coaching business for 6 or 7 years. We coached hundreds and hundreds of South Africa's top agents one-on-one. I have seen the power of one-on-one coaching, and I've been waiting for the right moment to start a one-on-one coaching program for our agents. And today's the day. So why did I put on the Build Conference? Well, because I believe, this was my faith coming into this thing, that every single person would find something in this 2 days that would deeply impact them. The whole purpose of the Build Conference is to leave a lasting impact on your lives. That's what I want. And I know that that's going to take more than just content. You know, I have trained literally tens of thousands. I've spoken to hundreds of thousands of people in my life. And I've trained tens of thousands of estate agents. And, you know, I don't think it's to my own discredit. It's just the way human beings are. The vast minority of those tens of thousands of agents have actually gone and implemented what I've taught them. And I think you know that's true. That's just how life works. So I want to talk about what it takes to see genuine change take place. You know, I want you to move from inspiration, which is what you're all feeling now, and rightly so. You're going to see point number 1 of my 3 points of what it takes to go and implement something is inspiration. You've got to be moved, emotion. You've got to have hope and vision and belief to get you going. And I mean, isn't Brent just amazing? Just like you breathe belief and inspiration, and Rory as well. Like, that's actually why I put this whole thing together with the two of them speaking at the end of day 2. You should be like feeling like, yes, maybe I can do something great with my life. Maybe I can actually have a win in my life. I hope you're feeling that. But I want you to take that inspiration and translate it into implementation. And I'm telling you, that so many people fall through the crack that exists between those two things. So number 1, for implementation, you've got to have hope. And I don't really want to expound on that. I think I've said enough about that. But you've got to have a vision for the future that you think is realistic for yourself. You've got to set goals. Gene said an amazing thing yesterday in that leadership session that we had. He said the goal begs the question. The goal begs the question. What does that mean? He was telling it in the context of, if you set a goal to sell 1 home a month, and you write that goal down, and you read it in the morning, I'm going to sell 1 home a month, I'm going to get super focused, this is my goal. That sets off a whole, like, train of thought. It sets the cogs off in your mind. They start clicking, click, 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 click. How can I do that? How can I sell 1 home a month? Now, you see, you're asking yourself a question now. My goal is 1 home a month. The goal begs the question. But what question are you now asking yourself? How can I sell 1 home a month? And that then sets into play a bunch of daily disciplines, a bunch of things that you do, some software you get, and maybe you hit your goal, maybe you don't. The question that Gene asked us yesterday is, what would happen if you set a goal to sell 10 homes a month? Now, this may sound like motivational talk and there's a goal setting, you got to have a vision, but it's a very practical matter. This is a very practical concern because this is how psychology works. If you set a goal to sell 10 homes a month and you get serious about that goal and you gather the people around you that are influencing your life, say, how can we sell 10 homes a month? What, are you crazy? No one sells 10 homes a month. Well, we're going to set a goal to do it. How can we do it? How can we do it? Well, I mean, if you want to sell it 10s and you'd have to do this. And then you see what's happening. The cogs are starting to turn. Click, 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 click. How can I sell? The goal begs the question. I'm telling you, for the platinum ticket holders, that alone was worth the 3,500 rand that you paid for this ticket. That is power right there. You've got to have hope. You've got to set the right goals. You've got to have a vision for what is possible. If you don't have that, you'll never implement anything because you won't have any discipline. There's a verse in the Bible that says that where the people lack vision, they cast off restraint. Where there is no vision, you cast off restraint. What's restraint? That's self-discipline. Is it easy to sell 10 homes a month? Is it easy to sponsor 25 agents? No. If it was easy, everyone would do it. It takes discipline. You're going to have to say no to some things in life if you want to say yes to other things in life. If you waste your days doing things that don't achieve anything, if you find yourself scrolling through social media for hours a day, you know what? You're going to get what you deserve. You have to say no to certain things in life to achieve. That kind of discipline is going to come from a clear, well-defined hope with goals that you've set for it. So do it. You can do that tonight before you go to bed. The second thing that I want to say about implementation is that you're going to need a good business strategy with a clear, step-by-step implementation plan. So while it is true, yes, and I said this earlier, that content alone is not enough for implementation. I mean, we live in an age where you've got content coming out of your ears. You can get onto YouTube and you can watch training by virtually any trainer as much as you want, as long as you want. At EXP, we've got unbelievable training, hours and hours, 60 hours of training a week available that you can do at your leisure. But content is not enough. Okay, having said that, you are going to need a well-defined, a good business strategy. You're going to need a good block of content that you can go through and learn how, in my view, the most important thing, to generate a steady stream of high-quality leads. You're going to need a good strategy for lead generation if you want to succeed on the sales side, the production side of your business. So, we have, in my group, we have a training curriculum that we work with to get your production up. It's made up of two major building blocks. The first one is a series that I did with a guy called Fred Wilson. Fred Wilson is a fascinating dude. He holds the world record, as he told me, I'm sure it's true, for what's known as the streak. Fred Wilson has sold one home every week for 36 years. How'd you like to do that? A home a week for 36 years. He's never missed a week. Here's the interesting thing about Fred Wilson. He says, I don't believe in tomorrow business. I don't believe in social media. I don't believe in databases or emails or referral businesses. I have a skill, he says, to be able to leave this room and get into conversations and go home with a hot, actionable lead today. Anytime I need business, I know how to go out and get it now. When he told me that, I actually met him in Jesse Zagorski's suite at EXPCon. Jesse Zagorski's trying to sponsor him. So I said to him, hey, Fred, would you do a training series with my group? He said, yeah. So we did a 7-webinar series where I picked out of him exactly what he does. You can have it. It's there. So that's the first major building block to our coaching, the curriculum part of our coaching, is getting you to be familiar with and comfortable with the skills of getting business now. But unlike Fred Wilson, I also believe in getting business tomorrow. In building a pipeline that can generate referral business for you or business or social media for you in the future. There's some things you can set in place. Now, that's what I'm best known for. That's what I've done for 20 years. I teach agents how to work by referral. And that training is a 7.5-hour course. It's called the Successful Real Estate Agent. That's the second building block. So you get the Fred Wilson and then the Successful Real Estate Agent course. And together, those two courses make up our curriculum. But just because you have been through a course, because I said to you earlier, if you read that carefully, it says you're going to need a good business strategy. Okay, fine, good content, with a clear step-by-step implementation plan. Because content can be overwhelming. You've got all these videos, you've got all this training. You even you do one training course, that's 7.5 hours. You watch the whole thing, You know, I've done social media training courses before. I don't know if you've bought something online, you've done a social media training. You do the whole social media thing, you take all your notes. Okay, I think I've got it. Okay, you get onto your Google dashboard, and it's like, what was that like? I can't remember the thing you clicked on, and how did you set up that audience? And it's just overwhelming. And so you're going to need to break the thing down. And that is exactly what one-on-one coaching does. So I made a little note here. I'm going to read this to you word for word because I think it's so important. Complex tasks. I said, okay, I'm going to digress. You know, implementing a referral system, for example, is a complex task. It's not like, okay, I'm going to have a referral system in place tomorrow. No, you're going to have to make a list of everyone you know. You're going to have to sort that list down to your 100 advocates. You're going to need a B list. You're going to have to type it up onto some kind of contact management strategy. Then you have to phone through all of those people and use a certain dialogue to prime them, to get them up and running on the system. Once they're up and running, you're going to need to have a CRM system that you then now keep in touch. You need to know how often to keep in touch with people. You're going to need to track your phone calls. You're going to need an email newsletter that goes out every so often. Once every 2 weeks, I think, is a good thing for your email newsletter. You're going to need all sorts of pieces in place. You cannot just go and do that tomorrow morning. So complex tasks that cannot be completed overnight are far easier to complete by dividing them into small, well-planned, manageable tasks which build upon one another until the whole is complete. Now that's exactly what one-on-one coaching does. So you get a one-on-one coach. Paul and Alette Maria will be doing the coaching. It's like, I don't know if you've ever done a puzzle. I'm sure you've all done a puzzle at some point in your life. If you've done like a 2,000 or 3,000 piece puzzle, all the content that we do, the training, it's like taking that box with 3,000 pieces and just dumping it on the dining room table and saying, okay, go make the puzzle, and hiding the picture. That's a bit like what training leaves people with. Now, when you get a well-defined strategy with a coach who helps you break it down piece by piece by piece. In our coaching program, you will speak to your coach every 2 weeks. Here's what the coach will do. They will sort all the pieces into, first step, the edges. And they will shuffle that little pile of edges across the table to you and say, right, that's the edges. You do that. That's the next 2 weeks. Don't worry about any of this. I got this. You go and do the edges. You're going to do the edges. Meanwhile, Paul is sorting out all the pink colors together. You know, that's, I think, the thing. You put the colors together. So the following 2 weeks, you've got your edges. He shuffles the pinks across. He then takes the curriculum. He takes the box. He says, you see that cloud in the top right-hand corner, that pink cloud? That's the cloud there. I'll just go and make the cloud. Okay? Then he's going to... That's what one-on-one coaching does. It takes complex systems and it breaks it down into bite-sized, manageable pieces so that you implement them step by step by step by step with the help of another human being. It is incredibly powerful. Okay, then, thirdly, for implementation, I don't think you can do this on your own. I think you need the help of another person. Personal help and accountability. You are going to need a coach. If you want to implement our lead generation strategy into your business, you're going to need someone to help you. I want to illustrate that truth to you. We make commitments and then we don't follow through. Why is that? Okay, so let me ask you this question. Don't be embarrassed. Have you ever bought exercise equipment and not used it? Yeah, exactly, Ruth. Exactly. We've got one in our study. See, my wife slipped out there when I raised this point. We have a treadmill that cost an enormous amount of money. I don't even know if we hang clothes on it. It's just this like ornament that sits in our house. Have you ever joined a gym and not gone? Why would you do that? And you're paying like $900 a month for your Virgin Active membership and you never go. Perhaps more to the point, have you ever read like an amazing business book, or you've come to a seminar, or and you've been inspired, and you came out with all these goals, and you've written things down, and you come out of the 2 days, and you've got all these plans only to lose that energy and that commitment through just the inaction of life and the lethargy of life, so that within a couple of days, you're straight back to where you were before the conference. Does that ever happen to you with training? Yeah, that's happened to every one of us. Now, those failures demonstrate the need to be coached. To enter into the relationship with another human being is going to help you to do that. And you can't say to me, Stephen, this time it's going to be different. This time I commit from Fridays between 2 and 5, I'm going to make 3 to 5 phone calls and set up appointments with agents. This time it's going to be different. Because you know what that is? That's the spasm speaking. And the spasm's not going to be there in a couple of days. So one of the other things that Paul and Alette are going to do, if you want them to do it, every coaching relationship is bespoke. They will customize the coaching for you. But for a lot of you, this is going to be a goal. They are going to help you with a lead, with an agent attraction strategy, and to set goals for your agent attraction, like 2 to 5 on a Friday, whatever it is for you, and they're going to hold you accountable to it. Do you know how powerful that is? This is the way we have been designed. We are not meant to walk through life alone. I've got a master's in theology, so I'm going to give you a little theology now, okay? God is a trinity, and yet He is one. And we have been made in the image of God. That's why, this is a famous thing that philosophers have struggled with through the ages. That's why we don't have this dichotomy between individualism and corporatism or community. Because God is both individual and He is corporate. He has always existed in the community of the Trinity from eternity past, in a loving community between the members of the Trinity. Now, He has made us in His image. What does that mean? That means you're an individual with your own plan, with your own destiny, with your own gifts, with your own calling, with your own situation. But you cannot walk life out on your own. We live and breathe and prosper in relationship. That's the way we've been designed. That's the way God wants it to be. And so we come into real estate, and let's be honest, for so much of your real estate career, you feel like you're on your own. I have had so many estate agents tell me through the years, real estate is a lonely industry. And some of those people telling me that were in an office with 20, 30, 40, 50 agents in the office with them, and yet they tell me they sit there at their desk feeling lonely. We don't want you feeling lonely. You're going to need someone to walk with you. We need it. We don't see our own blind spots. We don't know what we don't know. You can't do it on your own. It's okay. It's okay. So, a good coach is going to help you to formulate a good business strategy, and a good coach is then going to take that strategy that you agree on together and say, okay, step number 1, the next 2 weeks, this is all. I don't want you to worry about in 6 months' time. I want you to worry about what to do in the next 2 weeks. Here's what I want you to go and do. Okay, so if you register today for our coaching program, here's what will happen. Paul or Alette will phone you tomorrow, and they're going to set up your first session. Will probably be sometime next week. The first session is normally a little bit longer. It's about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And they're going to do what's known as a business analysis questionnaire. Basically, going to get to know you. They're going to ask you questions. You're going to do all the talking. Because they want to know, where are you? What is your goal? What have you done in the last 12 months? What would you like to do in the next 12 months? What are your dreams? What are your desires? What are the unique complexities of your particular niche of the industry or your geographic location? They want to get to know you because the coaching is bespoke to you. So, business analysis questionnaire in the first session. At the end of that session, Paul or Alette will probably set some goals with you. They'll go through a little bit of content and they'll say, okay, here's what I want you to do before our next session in 2 weeks' time. You got it? Yes, I got it. So they've set you, let's say, 4 goals. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the things you got to go and do. Now, I've done this with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of agents, okay? So I can tell you exactly what happens. 13 days later, because the next coaching session is 14 days. 13 days later, how many of those 4 things do you think have been done? Whew, a big fat 0. But on day 13, the most incredible thing happens. The spasm returns. This time, this is what the spasm sounds like in your head. Oh my word. That guy, I'm paying $4,000 a month to coach me, is going to, I've got a Google meeting with him tomorrow, and I haven't done any of those things, and all of a sudden, you jump into action, and it is incredible how much you can get achieved in a day. So you get number 1 done, you get number 2 done, you almost finish number 3, you're very proud of yourself. Get on the Google call, Paul says to you, so how did you do with the goals that we set in the last 2 weeks? You're like, yeah, I did number 1, I did number 2, I'm almost finished number 3, I don't even remember committing to number 4. So Paul will then go through maybe a little bit more content, chat about your strategy and say, okay, great. Here's what I want you to do for the next 2 weeks. I want you to finish number 3, I want you to do number 4, and then there's number 5 I want you to go and do as well. Okay? All clear? See you in 2 weeks' time. 2 weeks' time it happens again. So here's my question to you. When you leave here today, whether it's the agent attraction side or the lead generation side, how many of you, now be honest with yourself now, how many of you will actually go and find Fred Wilson's series and my Successful Real Estate Agent course, go through all the videos, break it down into manageable pieces for yourself, set goals, and go and do tasks 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, whatever they are? How many of you will go and do that on your own? You have to be honest with yourself about that. And what about tasks 6, 7, and 8? And what about 9, 10, and 11? And what about 12, 13, 14? And what about 15, 16, and 17, and 18, and 19, and 20, and 30, and 50, and 60 every fortnight, every 2 weeks, sitting with your coach, strategizing. Okay, let's get focused again. Let's set some more goals. Come on, let's do it. Let's do it. You can do it. It's working. Come on, stay with it. Task 61, task 62. How many of those will you get done on your own? Be honest with yourself. So please understand that a coach is a very different kind of relationship maybe than you've ever had in your life before. They're not a boss. They're not a principal. They're not there to tell you what to do. They can't tell you what to do. A coach is your biggest champion. Imagine having someone that's more committed to your success than you are, because you'll accept your own excuses and they won't accept them. And they'll bring you back. Come on, let's do this. Their whole reason for being in this relationship is your success. It is a phenomenally powerful relationship, a one-on-one coaching relationship. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about with accountability, that's point number 3, personal help and accountability, is accountability does not work if you do not have tracking. You have to have a robust tracking mechanism so that you can have intelligent conversations with your coach, because there are so many things we're going to get you to start to track in your business. Tracking gives you intelligence in your business. Let's take a silly example. How many phone calls did you make in the last 2 weeks? How many phone calls did you make in the last 2 weeks? Well, if you're on our coaching program, you're going to have an answer to that question, and it's going to be logged on a tracking system. And that's one example. There's about 50 things we're going to track in your business. You say, well, I'm not good at tracking. Well, how am I going to track that? Don't worry. You got a coach. They're going to show you the system. They're going to walk you through it. That's the power of having a coach. You're never going to feel overwhelmed. So we use a CRM system in my business called PropCon. PropCon, in my view, is the top CRM system available in the country. My whole group, from the beginning of EXP, has used PropCon as their CRM system. It is a phenomenal system, developed by South Africans for South Africans. I then asked Lawrence and Leandre, the couple that own PropCon, I said to them, we use PropCon as our CRM system in our group. Can we not build a tracking mechanism into PropCon so that the coaching relationship can sit on the same system as the agents are using for their CRM? Okay, I want to play you a little video.
Roughly 3 years ago, this was during hard lockdown. Do you remember that time? Well, it was a Friday afternoon and we got an incoming call.
This video call came in from Stephen himself. And up until then, we've only heard about him. We launched PropCon full-time when we were a month into our business.
The things we heard was like, biggest real estate trainer in South Africa. And we're like, we need to speak to this guy.
Well, he caught me off guard because I was makeupless on that Friday afternoon.
Oh my word, is Stephen, it's a video call. I don't have makeup on.
But we had to answer, and we had an awesome conversation with Stephen. We really clicked because we share a lot of the same values and principles when it comes to business. We've also had numerous webinars together where we will teach estate agents how to better communicate with clients to generate resales and referrals.
Stephen is also responsible for quite a few of the unique marketing tools in PropCon. And it usually starts off with a voice note where Stephen would say something like, hey Lawrence, I have this unique idea that can help estate agents. And it would be really nice if you could consider my idea and maybe implement it by next Tuesday. That would be really nice. PropCon is truly a community project. We take suggestions from Stephen, but also the rest of the community. And over the last few years, we've developed something really unique for the South African estate market.
It's also a system that grows as the real estate industry is growing. So Stephen, we want to publicly thank you for the huge role you've played in the growth of PropCon. We really love working with you and helping you just to give your team better tools to reach new heights in their careers. PropCon is not just another tech tool. This powerful software was developed for South African agents specifically. One of the latest features is this performance metrics modal, where you are able to track how your daily activities translate to your results. And it's especially built for Stephen's one-to-one coaching. Other tools include bulk communication via WhatsApp, SMS, and email, listing management with beautiful landing pages, click and share designs for social media posts, and even AI technology baked in to help you save time with writing property descriptions or posts for social media, or even some of your marketing material that you want to send to your database. Another really popular feature, especially under our EXP users, is the ability to have your own custom website at a really affordable a monthly fee. This custom website gives you the opportunity to add in fellow team members, to market your listings, to capture leads from buyers and sellers alike, and especially a page for estate agents where they can fill in their details if they want to form part of your team. To learn more about all these features, you can just go to propcon.coza. On the landing page, there are many videos and examples of features. If you like what you see, just click on Start Free Trial to create your profile. Now, a piece of great news is that if you are part of Stephen's EXP group, then you qualify for our enterprise discount on your monthly fee. So just be sure that his name is filled in as the person that referred you. With that being said, go ahead. Create your profile and form part of our group of trailblazing estate agents.
Stephen is also responsible for quite a few of the innovative.
Unique, gebruik unique.
Stephen is also responsible for quite a few of the unique marketing tools in PropCon.
I love those guys. They're so cool. All right, so that's how it works. Fortnightly one-on-one coaching for 12 months. Exclusive mastermind sessions for the coaching clients that we're going to be running. Training sessions for our coaching clients. And then the core blocks of our curriculum, which I went through. One of the most exciting things about Paul and Alette running our coaching program is that I said to you yesterday, they're the top users of PropCon in the country. They know every single corner of that piece of software and the power of all of its different functionality, from the calendar side to the listing management side to the contact management side. They use it all. And you're going to get Paul or Alette coaching you personally how to use PropCon in your business. It's just an unbelievable thing. So that's how it works. What does it cost? So just short of $4,000 a month. So I don't know what 4 times 12 is. So if you want to make a 12-month in advance payment, let's say you've just had a transaction register and you got the cash, we'll give you a 10% discount. So then you pay just over $42,000 for the year. Most of you will make $42,000 on your average sale. You know what that means, guys? That means for 12 months worth of one-on-one coaching, if all of that just leads to one more sale, it'll pay for itself. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself. I remember Jade's story from yesterday. Swipe the credit card, 60,000 Rand, and look where it's got him. Don't be afraid, guys, to invest in yourself. It's worth every cent. Okay, so what I want to do is just invite up Paul and Alette, if you guys want to come up quick, and they're going to just describe to you how the registration process works, because there's different options on the form. You should have a form on your chair. Please be holding that form in your hand because they're going to refer to it now. So over to you guys.
Thanks, Stephen. Yes, the form is very easy. It's got your name and detail that you can fill in there. And then in the middle is the options that is, Stephen has mentioned. It's the annual subscription for the 42. It's the monthly subscription, 12 times 395, or the contingency plan, which basically means that it's 15% of your gross commission for a 12-month period. So all that you do is when you fill in the form, you select which option is the one that's best working for you. And then there's a QR code on the front there. You can see it there. If you scan that, it takes you straight to the payment option to do your annual payment or your monthly payment. And on the back of the form is the normal T's and C's, all discussed and part of the memo, and you can just sign at the back. We already have our first form here. Rian van Zyl, you said that you want to be number 1 at a stage, and you are number 1, the first client of Blue Ocean Coaching. So well done, Rian. Welcome. And that's the form, guys. Really interesting and exciting content, and we like to partner with you. Thank you very much, Stephen.
If you register for our coaching program today, I'm going to give you a special for the Build Conference. How does it work? Instead of those as your costs, and by the way, just that contingency option, number 3, that's for those of you who say, I just don't have the money, but I want to do it. Okay, well, we will go on risk with you. We will take 15% of your gross commission over the next 12 months, and then it bleeds over for 3 months because of the registration process. At the end of the 12 months, where we get 15% of your gross com. You say, well, gee, if I do $1 million, that's like 150,000 Rand for the year. Okay, but we're taking a risk. So you risk, we risk. We risk, we reward. Here's the problem, not problem, but the challenge with that is that we only have space for X number of those. So it's going to be a first come, first served basis. You know, if we get 50 people who just tick the contingency option, there's no ways you're all going to get accepted. If you want to be on the coaching program, go for one of the 2 paid options. Okay, if you do that today, instead of paying $4,000 a month, you're going to pay just over 2,000 Rand a month, 2,190 Rand a month. 12 months in advance, you'll pay 23,000 instead of the 42, so it's almost a 50% discount we're giving on this. And then instead of the 15%, we'll say, okay, we'll do the contingency on 10% of your gross commission.